What is going on, everybody? Hopefully you've been having a fantastic day today. My name is Aaron, I'm from Splash Factory, and today I wanted to tell you 3 tips to help improve your website load speed and why it matters. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So GT Metrics is a fantastic free tool that you can use to audit your own website. So here I have a couple examples of our website, Google's website, and VaynerMedia website. And the reason for this is to give you 3 different examples of what you can kind of expect when you're in that website speed up phase of sorts, if that makes sense. So when you're really dialed in, you can kind of expect to see something along these lines. Mind you, this is without all those extra images and things on your homepage. We do have a couple things on our homepage. If you go ahead and take a look at splashfactory.com, you would be able to see those things. But if you use them correctly, compress them, optimize them using plugins as well as using Photoshop, when you export things in Photoshop, you make sure that they're optimized for web, not too big, and they're not 100% quality. If they're 100% quality, then it's going to be over 2 megabytes, and that is going to make your load time extremely longer than this. So our fully loaded time is 2.4 seconds. Let's go ahead and take a look at Google.com. Google.com is an extremely simple website. It just has a search bar, it has their logo at the top, and a couple other links. That's it. Very simple. They are pushing at 3.4 seconds. The third and final example is VaynerMedia. Good old Gary V. We all love him, we all adore him. Very intelligent human being, for sure. But his load time is almost 9 seconds. His webmasters really need to take a look and see what's going on with this problem. Now, if you want, we can actually dive into this real quick. So this is what's called the waterfall. The waterfall shows you what items and pieces of content are taking too long to load. So as you can see here, he has, let me scroll down here. As you can see, he has a lot of things loading up here in the beginning. He has picture, a bunch of pictures here, CSS, JavaScript files, let's see, JavaScript, JPEG. This is a GIF. Now GIFs take a minute to load. They look cool, they look fun, they're auto-playing, and they do come around and come across very well. But the problem is, as you can see here, it's taking 4.72 seconds for it to load on his website. That is a little bit too much because it's 2.8 megabytes. 2.8 megabytes. Take a look at Google. Google, their entire web page is only 623 kilobytes. I'm not very good at math, but 2.8 out of 623 would be about, this is 1/4 the size of just that GIF. The GIFs are fantastic, but remember, when you export GIFs, you have to make sure that they're nice and compressed, they still look flawless, but they're not too big. You want to have all of your assets to be at least under 200 kilobytes at the minimum. I highly recommend that. As you can see here, he has another JPEG, which is, wow, 691 kilobytes. That is more than the page size of Google. That's more than the page size of our Splash Factory website. Mind you, if you take a look at our Splash Factory website, just the example preview here shows we have a nice big image here showcasing a gentleman fulfilling products in his e-commerce brand. And yet we're not pulling 691 kilobytes here, but they are. Gotta get those dialed in. Next, another JPEG. Wow, over almost 8 seconds. This is their MP4 file. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. 1 minute and 3 seconds long. Okay, when it comes to MP4s, these things do take a minute to process, especially if you don't want them to look like crap. Because if you're pushing less than 1 megabyte for an MP4 that lasts over a minute, it's probably not going to be 1080p, which means full screen to most desktops. And it's probably going to look like crap because it's going to be, the bit rate's going to be much less, so there's going to be a lot less pixels on the screen. So what that means is, it's going to look like crap. That is the easiest way to put it. That is his website minus another MP4 that he has on his website. Actually, looks like it's not even pulling up here. Here's another MP4. Also looks like it's not showing up. It looks like it's hidden of sorts. Same with this PNG. So, highly recommend, if you are going to use images, use JPEGs. In Photoshop, turn them to 60 quality, 60 out of 100 quality. That will make sure that they are not too big, but they are also highly optimized for web. And on top of that, make sure that you use a caching plugin. I'll go ahead and show you this now. If you're on WordPress, I highly recommend WordPress Rocket. This plugin is absolutely fantastic. It's pretty simple for the most part. I highly recommend you look at some tutorials to make sure that when you get started, you know what you're doing. And if that is a little bit outside of your comfort zone, I highly recommend Hummingbird. They're out of Australia. They're fantastic. They have what's called WPMU Dev. Been using them for a long time. Not only do they have Hummingbird, but with their monthly plan, they give you a whole bunch of different plugins, such as image optimization, caching plugin for your website, defending your website with Defender Pro. Defender Pro makes sure that nobody hacks into your website using XML, and a whole bunch of other things. So don't worry. SmartCrawl, much better than Yoast. SmartCrawl is fantastic. We use it on a lot of our websites that we use WordPress for. I wanted to give you an idea about something called BigCommerce. BigCommerce is fantastic. We've used BigCommerce for a couple of our websites as well as client websites. We've also used Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce. I'll tell you what, WooCommerce loses, Magento loses, Shopify loses. Everybody always says that Shopify is the best. But here's the thing, and I'm not lying here. You can look this up for yourself. When I've used Shopify with clients' websites, or with my friends' websites, or even with my own website back in the day, Shopify outside of the box doesn't give you too much. You have to upgrade to extra plans, you have to get extra plugins and applications inside of Shopify to get the same stuff that BigCommerce gives you in the box. Literally, you get BigCommerce, bam, everything's there. On top of that, I tell you what, if you uploaded this exact same MP4 and you did a couple of these images or this GIF right here, tell you what, you go on BigCommerce and you upload those things. And I know this for a fact because I've uploaded 3 megabyte plus images to BigCommerce, and it shrinks them down to less than 100 kilobytes with the same quality and resolution as they originally were 3 megabytes, which is insane because, mind you, we're trying to keep our website less than 1 megabyte. The bigger the page size, the longer it will take to load. So you want to keep that page size as low as possible, because if it's a very high page size, it will take forever to load on somebody who's on 3G or 2G. So keep your web page ideally under 1 megabyte. The lower it can go, the better. That's my recommendation to you. Next, why does page speed matter? Why does load speed matter? If you want any chance to rank for search engines, you're going to need a website that's snappy, fast, and preloading fonts in your website. Because Google earlier this year made it so that way anybody who has a slow website is not going to be ranked as well as someone who does have a faster website. Because think about it, if your content is good, but nobody's going there, because it takes them, in this example, it takes them 8.9 seconds to go to your website. How many people do you think are going to leave before they get to that almost 9-second mark? Most people leave typically before the 2.5-second mark, let alone the 9 seconds. So think about it. If your website is fantastic, if your content is really good, if your blog posts are awesome and they're very in-depth, but your website takes almost 9 seconds to load, how many people are actually going to sit around and wait for it? No matter how good the content is, they're going to think that their Wi-Fi is broken or that their cell service is down. It's not a good place to be. So you got to fix your images. Make sure that if you're using any kind of MP4s, you make sure that they're very optimized for your site. Make sure your JPEGs are optimized for your site. Don't use PNGs unless you have to. PNGs, the ones with the transparent backgrounds, do not use them unless you have to. Otherwise, make it a JPEG. Keep the quality rate on Photoshop around 60. Same with Affinity, same with all those other web and photo imaging platforms. Also, another thing, if you're running paid ads to your website and your website takes almost 9 seconds to load, how many of those paid leads that you're paying for, or paid clicks, or paid web traffic that you're paying for from Facebook, Google, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, etc., how many do you think are going to leave your website because of that? I know I wouldn't sit around and wait 9 seconds for your website to load. I wouldn't sit around for that. It's too much time. Almost 10 seconds for your website to load text. A little bit outrageous if I don't say so myself. 9 seconds for a website to load, way too long, in my opinion. So, to recap, make sure that you have optimized images for your website. Number 2, make sure that you're using a caching plugin. If you're on BigCommerce, you will not have to worry about this. But if you're on WooCommerce, WordPress, or any of the like, or Shopify, make sure you have a caching plugin. Number 2, have a CDN. And in the next video, we're going to talk about a CDN and using Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a free service that you can use right now in less than 10 minutes hook your website up to it, and have all of your images coming through there. And it also protects you against DDoSes and other SSL problems. So in our next video, we're going to talk about that. Make sure you head on over to splashvector.com, check out all the latest and greatest content in our blog posts that we help businesses learn more about content marketing, improving their customer service, and much, much, much more. Also, if you're looking for an experience development agency to go with, go ahead and fill out our application on the website and schedule a call with one of our specialists to see how we may be able to help you grow your business. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I had a great time filming this for you. Think about it. The stuff that I showed you, how easy is that to implement? It's very, very easy. You most likely have less than 10 images on your website, at least on your homepage, that you can optimize in literally less than 10 minutes. And I should probably, you know what, I'm actually going to make a video about that too. I think it'd be very beneficial to show you guys how you can actually use Photoshop or Affinity or whatever program that you use, even Canva, and how you can use those programs to better optimize the images that are on your website. So stick around for that. Stick around for the next video. We're going to talk about CDNs and Cloudflare and how using that free service that Cloudflare provides and how that will be fantastic for you to not only keep your website encrypted, secure, and safe, but also it'll speed it up for free. For free. Free 99. Free 99. Free. You can't beat that. Seriously. Show me a platform that does better than that. That also, I don't know, runs Amazon. I don't know. Runs GoDaddy. Literally, Cloudflare runs the web. So, stick around for that. You're going to have a great time. You're going to learn a lot about how you can fix your website. It's going to be great. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Catch you on the next video. Much love. God bless. I'll see you then.